So let's check out the word liar in the Hebrew in the Bible. So here's the word for liar in Hebrew. It's a kazab. It's a K, Z, and a B. It's kazab. You can see the definition tells you it means to tell a lie, to be a liar, to be found a liar.
And that's exactly why the word kazab is found mostly in the book of Psalms, which of course is made and named after the Lyre or the Lyre, which is about the parables. Like the parable paradox in the book of Psalms about every man is a liar or every man is a kazab or a kazav. And another Hebrew word for the word liar or to deceive is kachash, which of course is also found in the book of Psalms or the book of the parables of the liar or the lyre. And notice that kazab and kachash begin with ka or the ka. So the ka is the spirit or the soul between life and death. And when we look at the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, notice that the kaf and the aleph are at the end and the beginning of the L even. Thus the 1 and the 11, the L even, which is exactly why the letter K is the 11th letter. So the Hebrew kazab or liar is the kaf, the zayin, and the beit, which can also be spelled with the kaf, the aleph, the zayin, the aleph, and the beit, kazab. So kazab is a two-syllable or a bi-syllable word, kazab. So the ka in kazab is once again related to the sacred bull, where we read right here that the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol of the ka is a bull. And the ka can also mean black. So this is why ancient Egypt is known as Kemet or Kameh, which means black. And of course, it is identified with the black cow or the bull. And there are many Ka words that mean black, like Cabernet Sauvignon, or like a cabaret show, which of course is a nightclub because it is at night during the darkness or the blackness. And when we look up the etymology of cabaret, it says to see the word chamber because a chamber is dark and black. And the chamber tells us to see the word camera, which is a dark chamber or a black room, and also the black box of the camera. And we also have the dark black coffee. And Kalibos is the black evil bull or the bos who is in hell. And the ka can also mean the spirit or the soul, which is found inside the darkness of our bodies. And Kabbalah means the black cube, like the black cube of Mecca. Thus, the Kabbalah is the cube or the kube, which is the kaibos, which is the bowl, which is the bos, thus the black cube of the bowl. In fact, the very word color itself means to cover or conceal, thus the darkness or the blackness, the color from the kel, the chroma. And when we look at a CMYK color chart, the K or the Ka is black. So remember that I told you that the black, which is the K or the Ka, comes from the white or the blanc, thus Bahel, the same etymology as white, to shine, to burn. So this is exactly why the story of the Kaaba stone says that a white stone fell from heaven and then it turned black. Because white is the light of good and truth, and black is the dark of the bad of the liar or the deceiver. So now I'm going to touch base on the second syllable of kazab, which is zab, which is a trilateral root word beginning with the Zion and the AB or the AV, which is the Ab or the Av, which means father, which is the parent root. And in the book by Simon Bodenheimer, Animal and Man in Bible Lands, he clearly states that the Zab means tortoise, which is the turtle. And remember I told you about the turtle and the Lyre or the Lyre? Again, confirming the infernal, diabolical turtle from the underworld and the Lyre or the liar and Kazab. Now the Hebrew Zab also means the wolf. Thus we have the wolf in sheep's clothing. Because he is the wolf that wears the fake mask, the trickster, the thief, the robber. He steals the herds. Thus he is the liar. So now you will understand the story of the boy who cried wolf, which is the story about the boy who was a liar or a kazab. So like I said, in ancient Egypt, the ka was representative of the cow, the cattle, or the calf, which is the bull. And the ancient hieroglyphic symbol of Ka was with the two raised arms in the air, which represented the bull horns. So the Ka is the symbol of the bull horns upon the head, which is the crown. Thus, in Kabbalah, the top or the crown is the Keter, the Ka. And of course, the crown comes from the bull god himself, Saturn El, or Cronus. And you see, this is why when you look at all ancient cultures of the ancient world, you will always find that the king or the gods are represented with the crown, which is the bull horns of the bull. So the Ka is the divine soul, the life force or the spirit. So the soul or the spirit is a abstract concept in essence relating to the divine or God, thus raising our arms up into heaven to receive the energy or the life force from God. This is why the Kabbalah means to receive. And of course, we receive with our hands, which is why when you look at the Ka, you'll notice the open hand receiving, which is the symbolic symbolism of the Kabbalah. So now let's take a look at the ancient Paleo-Hebrew pictographic Kaf, or the K.
Chaf means the palm of the hand. When that cupped hand is turned upside down, it has the form of a crown. And thus the word for crown in Hebrew, keter, begins with a chaf. If you take the palm and you hold it hand, it's the receiver. It's what receives. And the top of the sukkah is called schach, which is made of two letters, chaf. And the meaning is the meaning of the chaf itself, of this, as it were, God's palms over us and blessing us and giving us energy. So this in itself is a beautiful meditation for the chaf, is to imagine God's energy above us, protecting us, shining down on us, and blessing us.
So the Hebrew chaf, or the kaf, has a strong relationship with the ka of Egypt, which means the palms or the hands. And when we look at these two symbols side by side, you'll notice the close relationship and the close relationship of the hands and the double symbol with the U shape. In fact, this is the very essence and the meaning of the Egyptian hieroglyphic of Ka, which means double, the essence of the soul or the spirit between life and death, the two polar opposites, thus the pillars of the polar opposites or the double, which is reflected in the pillars or the polar opposites of the Bible. And when we look at the Hebrew Ka, which is the Kaf and the Aleph, we find that the meaning is similar to the Ka of Egypt, which means like, similar, equal, together, having the same form or the same characteristics of qualities, which means double. It's a reflection of one another. So I find it very interesting that the Egyptian Ka means the cow, the cattle, or the kaf. And then when we look at the K of Hebrew, the kaf or the chaf, it also resembles the phonetic sound of the kaf. And then, of course, it has the silent L in it, which is the bull god of the Bible. And then add the fact that L was known as the double pillars or the two L's or the L even, the 11, and of course the K, like I said before, is the number 11. And then of course the Kabbalah also has the 11 Sifirot or the 11 Sifiro. And of course, the Hebrew Bible consists of 22 letters, which are divided into two L evens or 11. And thus we have the dualistic bipolarity magic of L even or the 11. And of course, this is exactly why you see all the symbolism of the 11, as in September 11th, and all the 11s that are associated with that magic of L even. And the satanic beast himself regards L even or the 11 as magical. Thus he spells the word magic with a K. Who knows, maybe that's why K is special. And then we have the numerology and superstition of 1111. Like when the clock strikes 11, you're supposed to make a wish. It's supposed to be a divine intervention. Kind of like that time when I was making that video series about 11, and then it was the 11th part of the series, and when I looked at the clock, it was 11:11. And I'm telling you the truth right now, I did not plan this whatsoever, but today is Tuesday, and it is the 11th hour, and when I look at the clock right now, believe it or not, it was 11:11. Freaking strange, man. So anyway, like the 11 is like the two candles burning. Thus, when you burn the candles, you make a wish and you blow them out. It's the same symbolism, exactly like on September 11th, Tuesday, 9/11. And also in Genesis 11, we find the Tower of Babel. And of course, King Solomon's twin pillars, or the L even, as well as the Freemasonic twin pillars. And of course, the tarot card 11 is justice, or the dualistic pillars of even, thus the balance. So, speaking of Baal, the bull, it's also kind of funny that the Bible or Taurus is the second house. So anyway, it's kind of strange that the Aleph, 1, and the 11, the K, is the Kaf, thus the ox and the calf. And of course, the word Kabbalah has the word Baal in it, the bull. And the Greek Lyre is the Hebrew Kinor, or as Aaron says, the Ka, Na, war. And notice how the Lyre is in the shape of the Ka. And like I said before, when we look at the ancient Hebrew Kinor, Neville, you'll notice the bull symbolism on there from ancient Ur. This is why in the book of Psalms you'll see that Kenor, Nevul, Asur is used. Asur, exactly like shore, the bull or the ox in Hebrew, which is the Tor, the Torah. The Taurus Mazal Shor, which is the constellation of Taurus. And when we look at the second house of Taurus, which is called the Shor, Shoar, notice it's called the Lyre, Lyar. And Ashur or Asur is exactly like Ashur, which is the winged bull god from ancient Mesopotamia.